get ready, get ready, get ready. It's Let's Talk Business with Cheryl J. Cousteau. It is the second hour of our show, and I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Shanae Davis.
Hey, how is everyone
doing today? Look at all of these beautiful backgrounds. Listen, you're going to hear us talk. That's our little pink tabletop back there. But first off, thank you to those of you who are tuning in today. Thank you to our In Touch News family, our YouTube family, our Facebook Lives on all multiple channels. We thank you for taking your lunch break or whatever break it is that you decided to tune in and listen to our amazing guests. We'll talk more about it, but it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and you're going to hear about that. We have some phenomenal guests. This is the show that will be all up in your medical business. Why it's so important to have this show and to bring this message. It's important because Moffitt Cancer Center says so. We're in collaborations with them so that we can always bring cancer awareness and let you know that there are resources, there are places where you can go, where research and innovative technology is happening every day to help us beat this dreadful, dreadful disease. This is the show that will ask the who, what, when, where, how, and why of your business and organization today. It's a combination of organizations and business. I'm going to let our medical expert take this part of the show over, but let me take this opportunity to say a special thank you. And you'll hear more about why these women are warriors. But to you, she's a regular guest co-host on our show, Dr. Shanae Simmons. Welcome back. A new guest on our show, Miss Selena King. And another first timer, but we've known her for quite a while, and that's Dr. Vondelin Wright. Welcome, lady.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for having me again.
Yes, Dr. Davis. Go for it.
Absolutely. Well, welcome to Breast Cancer Awareness Month, everyone. Today's show is all about letting you know what your risks are and having you not forget, particularly if you are a young African-American woman, of how these things can affect us. That means chronic disease across the board, but breast cancer is our focus today. We have deemed our hot topic to be young, gifted, and Black with breast cancer today, because our host today and I wanted to, again, not just look at, us, we know our real age, I'm sure, us that get mammograms all the time. All of our,
I'm not 28 anymore.
You're 28, but we know when we are for the 40 plus fine club, there are things that we do to make sure that our health is preserved. If we learn about any ailments that we have early on, opportunities for treatment, management, and care that is the least invasive and that compromises our quality of life, they're great opportunities the earlier that we find things. Our guests today are not just young women. Absolutely, they are gifted and they are Black. Our stories are to focus on young survivors of breast cancer, because Black women are diagnosed when we have breast cancer at younger ages, and also the cancers that are found tend to be more aggressive. The ladies here today will tell their stories. These are community giants, community warriors in their own right. We have Dr. Shanae Simmons, Dr. Vondelin Wright of the Fight Right Foundation, and also the president of the Sisters Network, Miss Selena King, and all of them will tell us about their fight with cancer today.
Yes. Well, that being said, let me allow you to just hear a little more about them, and then I'll ask them to share information that they would like to share with you, our radio listening audience. But Dr. Shanae Davis, we have two Dr. Shanaes. We have my Dr. Shanae, and then we have our sister friend, Dr. Shanae. But she has a reputation as an outstanding clinician, trainer, and administrator. And that's how she brings in to this whole program elements about entrepreneurship. Then she's able to talk to us when it deals with our mental health. And that's what makes having her on our show so very, very important. She has a knack for empowering mental health professionals by motivating and equipping them to deliver services to very challenging populations and empathy. And that's so very, very important because, you know, sometimes we confuse empathy and sympathy, but there's a big, big difference. So she's on the show today to help you, our young, gifted, and Black, I'm going to call you today, Women King Warriors. Dr. Shanae, she's a warrior. What would you like our radio listening audience and our guests to know a little bit more about the inside of who you are and what it is that you do?
Wow. Wow. Thanks again. It's always an honor to share space with you all on this platform. I think the thing that's most important for folks to understand is that I'm an ordinary woman. I just happen to be able to do some extraordinary things. And I don't do those things in my own power. I've done those things with the power of God. Amongst that includes leading a team of clinicians. But I think, you know, more instrumental for this conversation is the fact that as a stage 3 breast cancer survivor, I'm 7 years out today, and I've been committed to sharing the things that I've learned about me and community to help other women navigate this thing. Oftentimes the big C word is looked at as a death sentence, and it doesn't have to be for everyone. And so I'm here to inspire and empower others to not wait till the last minute, but if you do get diagnosed, to fight your way through.
I like that. And what a way, Dr. Shanae, my Dr. Shanae Davis, what a way to end that introduction. And we're all in this fight together. And we'll hear more about fighting and boot camping from one of our other guests. And so that's so very, very important. You know, you're always welcome on the show, Dr. Shanae. We love you. We appreciate you. And thank God for year number 7. That's a year of completeness. So this is over. Yes. This is over. Dr. Davis, who do you have to introduce to us?
Absolutely. I'm here to introduce Ms. Selena King, our second guest. I'll let her tell you the more interesting parts of what it is that she does. But she is a giant in our community, native born here in Hillsborough County and a product of our school system. She is the CEO and founder of Daughters of Esther Today Incorporated. It's a nonprofit for empowering pregnant and teen moms and inspiring them towards a brighter future. She was diagnosed again at a young age of one of those more aggressive types of breast cancer. She was at stage 2, a triple negative breast cancer. And that's, you know, one of those, again, aggressive types, and the treatment options don't tend to be very many. She had a double mastectomy and also right now is a survivor. She's cancer free. Very interesting thing that I saw in your bio is that you have a son, and in your fight against breast cancer, he started cooking and baking goods and selling to raise money for you. And today that's a thriving business. So tell us more about your journey in breast cancer.
Wow. Thank you for that introduction. And it's such a blessing to be amongst you all today, living amongst the living, especially. So I am truly thankful that this is 5 years cancer free for me. And I am thankful that the beginning of this year, I was voted in as the president of Sisters Network Tampa Bay, and it is such a privilege and an honor to be holding that title in such what I want to say is the word for it, such a passion that I have now for something that I went through, and just wanting to be able to help others through this open door at the Sisters Network, trying to make us a household name, making sure that we can help every single woman that is out there that is in need of mammograms and doesn't know where they're going to get the monies or don't have insurance. We just want to be that open door and that household name. So much for me, but thank you.
You know, that's a lot for you. And this is my first time meeting you. And if I did at some other point, I apologize. I do see and meet a lot of people, but this is Sisters Network is so very, very special to me, as one of my dear childhood friends actually is responsible for bringing the chapter to the Tampa Bay area. Yes, Sonia. Oh my gosh, she was just amazing. And I remember volunteering, and let me give a shout out today because it's her birthday. And then her best friend, Tonya Bascom, chaired Real Men Wear Pink, I believe, for 2 years, because we supported them in that entire program. And happy 60th birthday, Tonya Bascom. She's probably going to kill me later. But it's people like Tonya who step in when we see loved ones and people that we grew up with, and we see you going through this struggle. But then you take that struggle and you turn it into an empowerment organization and or business. And then that's where we come in. Dr. Davis and I, we only have love for you because we've not experienced it. I lost my mother to cancer, but it's nothing like going through it at what we're hearing and seeing you all. But you all have taken it a step further. You're creating your own organizations to make sure that you're using your voice and your power and your resources to bring awareness to the community, especially in our community of women of color. And that's so very, very important. Thank you, Dr. Davis. We are so super excited, and we've got our third guest, and I just have the honor to be here with all of you. This one came to my office, just all young, beautiful, bubbly. And I remember, Dr. Davis, I was chairing the inaugural gala for the MF King Parade Foundation. We were raising money for scholarships, and she did not hesitate. She wanted to make sure that her ticket was reserved, not like everybody else. She came to my office to make sure that she was in the organization and supporting us. And that particular year, we gave out, I think, 11 $1,000 scholarships to our young kings and queens coming up that's going to do extraordinary things. And now she was already a trailblazer and a catalyst, and she's done some amazing things. And I can't wait till we get to the end of the show, but I'm going to see if I can hold myself together just to share a little bit about Vondelin. And I met her as Vondelin Crawford, now Vondelin Crawford Wright. She is now the founder of the Fight Right Foundation. But before all of that, she's the owner of Health Matters Pharmacy. If you have not heard about this pharmacy, you need to take the time out of your schedule and take, I think that's 56 going south, and you'll find her on the right-hand side, right in the hub of on the outskirts of East Tampa and Ybor City. And that's very, very important. Health Matters Pharmacy. And she's also a co-owner of 7th and Grove Restaurant. And I know all of you can attest what a fabulous, fabulous restaurant that is in Ybor City. Yeah. She's done a lot. She is well respected in her community. Listen, she completed her doctorate of pharmacy degree at where?
Florida A&M University.
Yes. Mechanical University College of Pharmacy in 2008. And her role as a pharmacy in charge with over 20 years of experience, it's really, really just hard to believe. But she sustained a lot as she was growing up, faced with many obstacles. And some of us have, but some of them not to the extent to where our guest has been able to just persevere. Listen, before I even say welcome to the show, I'm so very proud of you and what you continue to do in the community, because sometimes when you, and I heard Dr. Shanae Simmons say that C word, and that was a word, cancer, my mother could never say it. She would call it that C thing. The words just could never come out of her mouth. But you all were able to say it, hear it, interpret it, pray on it, go through it, bounce back. And now she has a foundation called Fight Right. Didn't God give you the right name? Yes. And Ricky, and listen, you're so special in what you're doing, because sometimes it takes people years to get into something like this or get into a support group. And Dr. Shanae Simmons can attest to that. but you never stopped. You went through it all. What would you like to know a little bit, us to know, and our radio listening audience to know about you? And then we're going to tap into a very special, very short, but poignant documentary that you produced. Dr. Vondelin Wright, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I am honored to be here, and I really appreciate you all having me here today. Really to talk on my journey, and also to talk on like how we're going to help each other, right? Because as a community, we lack a lot, and so I'm just really grateful. Of course, like you said, I am I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, and I am a cancer survivor or cancer fighter, because I'm still in this fight. And so I appreciate everything that that you are giving me as far as this platform to make people aware that cancer looks like us. Cancer can look like anybody. And so I'm just grateful to be here, and thank you all so much.
Oh my gosh, you are more than welcome. Dr. Shanae Simmons, you would appreciate this. Educated because she knows her risks and how to perform a self-exam. Empowered because she can share her story with others and ask for help. Engaged with her medical team to create the best health care plan, and I would say outcome for her and her family. Yeah. So to our radio listening audience, Dr. Davis and I try to bring the very best to you, who can tell their stories like no one else can. Our three young, gifted, Black women king who are fighting breast cancer. Dr. Davis?
Yes, so young, gifted, and Black. I'd just like to hear from our guests to give us just a short version of their journey in cancer. How old were you when you were diagnosed? What feelings did you have? Did you share it immediately? Did you keep it to yourself? Was there a delay? Talk about some of the things that you felt when you learned that you had breast cancer at such a young age. What kind of breast cancer were you diagnosed with? Ladies, tell us about your journey. Dr. Wright, let's start with you.
Okay, so when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was diagnosed at the age of 42. But I can assure you that I probably had breast cancer in my 30s. Which brings me to the fact that we as African-American women are usually diagnosed at a younger age. The average age of diagnosis is typically about 65 years old. And so the first thought that came to my head was denial. And typically denial is something that that I would think that most of us would think, especially when you're healthy like I was perceived to be, and I did everything right. I went to the gym, I worked out. I didn't have like my immediate family with breast cancer. And so I thought this must be a mistake. The next thought was, am I going to live or am I going to die? And with that being said, I was prepared. I said, you know, God has given me so many gifts in this life. And, you know, if, you know, whatever the case may be, I'm going to be a light to somebody else. And so the first thing that I did was take out the camera and start documenting. I didn't know, you know, how this documentary was going to turn out, but I knew that I wanted to share my story, whatever the outcome.
So I think that is absolutely wonderful. And as you shared just then, I can understand the emotion that you still feel. You mentioned denial, and on other shows, I said it's a grieving process that we go through. Yes. Our sense of health as we know it, and that Kubler-Ross, phases, those phases of Kubler-Ross, denial, anger, depression. Sometimes we bargain a little bit before we get to a state where we're accepted and ready to even be treated. Dr. Shanae, can you tell us about your journey? You shared some before, and I know that there was a delay and some bargaining in your story. Can you share with our audience today?
Absolutely. So I was diagnosed at the age of 39 officially, I knew for a fact that something was happening at the age of 38. I was immediately angered. My mother was diagnosed on her 50th birthday. And immediately she was tested. She got the genetic testing. I have two other sisters we share a mom. And at that time, when her results came back, we all were left with the impression that we really didn't have anything to be concerned about because she did not carry that gene that would alarm us. And so we all kind of took a deep breath. I, of my two younger sisters, had the tendency to be a little on the healthier side if you eliminate stressors. That's a different conversation. And I was angered. I just moved here to Florida, away from my entire support system, 800 miles away with two teenage children. And so my initial reaction was anger. And then, of course, the fear, like Dr. Vondelin said, am I going to live? And I've always been a fighter. I love that's the name of her organization, because I've always been a fighter, born and raised in New York City in the 80s during the heart of the crack epidemic. This girl learned how to fight. And so I realized that I had to fight to walk out what I had said I believed about my faith. I had to fight that out in practice. And so the bargaining was between the ages of 38 and 39 when I chose not to go get a diagnosis, but kind of knew what was going on. But at the point of diagnosis, it was fight on.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Fight on. Is that what you said? Fight on?
Fight on. Fight on.
Y'all hold on to that fight.
So how are we doing on time, Cheryl?
What I would like to do is let's go ahead and show Dr. Vondelin's film, and it's short so that you all can think, as you're looking at it, think about it, and then we're going to come back after our commercial break. We'll hear from you, Selena, but we want to also talk about what happens when you are empowered to fight when you're at your weakest. Ricky, can you cue it up for us?
I have something in my body that's really trying to take me out. This is unmarked territory for me. This is something that I really need strength, and the strength of my family, the strength of my friends, just to really get through. I know that God is going to get me through this journey, and I appreciate all the blessings that I've had thus far. This is a battle that I will win, but right now it's kind of me against cancer. I'm ready to fight.
Absolutely. To hear that Black woman anthem, because there's so much that we rise up through, our, beginnings, through our education, having to deal with passive aggressiveness and in society, in our careers. And we have, again, on board today, 3 powerhouse women. Before we move on to that engaged part, a little bit more for organizations, I'd like Ms. King to tell us about her story. Earlier, she started to share and also mentioned in her brief intro that triple negative cancer, breast cancer in Black women, it's pretty common. 35% of Black women are diagnosed with cancer at that triple negative, with that triple negative diagnosis and at higher stages. She was at stage 2. Tell us about your journey.
Get emotional now.
That video was something.
Yes.
I feel you, girl.
Yes, I was actually 51 when I was diagnosed and I found that I had breast cancer. When I found out, I actually got a call. A doctor called me on my way home. And I was very numb. Um, it's crazy to say because I actually, for years, about 7 years before that, I was actually a wellness coach, talking to people on what to eat and how to keep their bodies in shape and things like that at the older age. And basically, for me to get breast cancer, I was numb. Didn't know who to talk to. Mother of six, didn't know how to tell my children. My mother had passed away when I was 11 years old, and my sister was 6 of breast cancer. So for it to touch me, it kind of did something. Again, I was one also that went through the genetic testings after I was diagnosed. And my sister also went through it as well. And both of us had the gene. Yes. And I talked to my children about getting the testing done as well. But again, I was very, very numb. I can't say I was angry, but what I tried to do was pull onto everything positive. Everything I can think of that was positive. I pulled other scriptures. My thing was, no weapon formed against me is going to prosper. And I kept that the whole entire time. And I kept looking at it like, okay, my right breast, something formed in my right breast, but it won't prosper anywhere else in my body. And I stood on that. I wouldn't let anyone come around me and talk negative. And I believe being positive is a part of healing. So with that being said, there's so much I could say, but that's how I felt. And that was me. That's me.
Yes, so that was a very powerful video. Denial, Dr. Wright talked about anger, Dr. Shanae talked about, Miss King talked about a little depression and needing to pull her self back up. You said you went through a little chemo, and we saw the same on Dr. Wright's video. Dr. Shanae, did you experience chemotherapy as a part of your treatment?
Yes, ma'am. I had everything under the sun.
So with our young entrepreneurs, they all experience chemo, audience, and sometimes we can get like a lumpectomy. Sometimes we can just take medication when it's found at an early enough phase that we can have those least invasive treatments. So from the three of you, from what we saw on Dr. Wright's documentary clip, tell us about that experience with chemo.
I'll go. For me, it was daunting and scary. But after I got through the first infusion and leaned into my treatment team, I was able to ride it out with very little complication. The treatment team was absolutely essential, and they had the history and was able to help me identify the GI issues that was associated with it, and to combat that by following chemo with hydration. So I would come in another day to be infused and get the liquid so I wouldn't dehydrate, and that reduced a great deal of the symptoms. Everybody's journey is different, so I hesitate to delineate all of the ups and downs because I never want to color that experience for anyone. Just know that for me the important part was leaning into the treatment providers and really just like Selena said, embarking on the positive and appreciating the moment of the day. And so I would pack my little laptop and work in the chemo in the infusion center, and just make the most of the breath that I had at the moment.
Right.
And if I could say, with me going through chemo again, it was scary because it's going into the unknown. You don't know what's getting ready to go through your body. All you know of what you've heard and the things that they show on TV and the different things. So I went in again in a positive state, just a little nervous, but basically, like Dr. Shanae said, with my team, they made me feel comfortable. I didn't have really any of the side effects other than the weight gain from the steroids. But basically, I went through it. I had to actually get some iron infusions before they would let me go through the chemotherapy, but that went well. And I mean, I didn't have, every time I went there, I did take some literature. And when I finished with it, I went straight to work. So I went through it really well, really well.
Now, Dr. Wright, as
Mhm.
a pharmacist, you had a benefit that our other two guests didn't. You knew a little bit about those medications, but once you got your diagnosis and the denial that you speak of, is I can imagine that it was pretty daunting to think that you have to experience something that you knew so much about.
It
When
was, sorry. It was, first I wanted to make sure that chemo was the right treatment for me because, of course, we know in healthcare, we as African Americans have to be advocates for ourselves. And so as an advocate and as a healthcare professional and as a patient, I knew that I was going to be a part of whatever decisions we made. I was going to do my own research and I was going to make sure that, you know, everything that I did, it was to save my life. And so that was a hurdle that my doctors and I, you know, came together and we concluded that chemo was going to be the way to go. And the reason is because my cancer had already spread to my lymph node. And when it spreads to the lymph nodes, that's your protecting area. So if it gets past the lymph node, then that's what they call metastatic or I guess terminal cancer, where the treatment options are very low. And so I knew too that my cancer was very treatable because I had estrogen fed cancer and it was HER2 negative. And so I knew that there was a lot of research and a lot of medications that could treat my cancer. And so I knew I had a good chance that if I did what the doctor said and, you know, and like I said, a part of that team, that I would be able to live. But my chemo, I was initially thinking, oh, I'll do, you know, a little bit of chemo. I had 16 rounds of chemo. And for me, that was like, wait a minute, I don't have time for this. I'm a business owner, I'm a mother, I'm young. And that's one of the things that hit us when we're younger age and we have to pause and take care of ourselves. And so I was lucky to have the support of my family, the support of my husband, and just all I had to focus on was getting better. With that, I had what we call the red devil. And I don't, you know, some of us have heard of that. And I was really scared because I was wondering why here in 2021, I was getting the same treatment that people got in 1950 when it first came out. Mm-hmm. I wonder where the evolution of medication should have been. And by now, because what the red devil does and what most chemo treatment does is it depletes everything out of your body, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so I was like, why can't we just get something to focus on the ugly and leave the good there? But that wasn't an option for me at the time. And so doing that, it depleted everything out of me. And I didn't have, you know, I had good days, but it was totally different for me. I ended up with a blood clot in my lungs, which cancer can cause, and rushed to the emergency room and had a hospital stay with that. A month later, I ended up with pneumonia while on chemo, just because I'm doing this during a pandemic already, and COVID-19 is out there, and I'm already taking extra precautions. And so it was a journey, but I'm just grateful that I got through it, because there were days that I said, God, you know, what is the alternative? Because it was really, really hard for me. And I'm just grateful to be here. And of course, my support system and my family just made sure that, no, we're going to get through this and it's going to get better. And today I see better days.
That's wonderful. As a person that provides health care to our community, the education. In your case, I imagine that it was a blessing and an albatross, because it can produce fear the more you know.
Yes, it is.
You took your experience and you empowered others, and you're to be commended for that. And you're engaging us by coming on the show today, and also the initiative of the Fight Right Foundation. And we'll get to that in just a minute, because you mentioned some things that I think our audience should be aware of. Again, African American women have the risk, a greater risk of being diagnosed earlier once we're screened of a more aggressive type of breast cancer. This triple negative cancer does not respond to typical treatments. That's why it's so hard to treat. It has a high recurrence rate, and the 5-year survival rate with triple negative base cancers is actually lower. African American women are again 35% at risk. 35% of breast cancers in African American women are diagnosed with that type. Luckily, the HER2 negative type, it does have more treatment options, but you do run the risk with metastasis of this aggressive cocktail, having to be treated with this aggressive cocktail of the red devil, and that's what Dr. Wright talked about. I'd like to talk about some of those non-modifiable risk factors many of our guests mentioned today, and also what we can do to lower our risk for breast cancer, and those are those modifiable risk factors. If you have a first degree relative, a sister, an auntie, a mom, a grandma, those are people that if they've had breast cancer, it's important for you to know that so that you can be screened accordingly. Certainly our age, most women are again diagnosed around age 60 or 65, but we need to be screened sooner. The U.S. Preventive Task Force says around age 50, we should start being screened if you have just an average risk. But we know starting at age 40, particularly in our community, is a better screening starting point. And that's when I start screening African American women anyway, at age 40, unless there is cancer in the family that started sooner. So our age is one of those non-modifiable risk factor. Our race can't be modified. We can identify how we want to, but we are as we are. Even though women have more breast cancer, you can also get breast cancer as a man, particularly if there is a family history. Now, I want to talk about some of the risk factors that can be modified. If you smoke, certainly stop smoking. Other things in the environment that are known to cause cancer, pollution, certain food additives, those are things that can be modified. Being overweight, being sedentary, eating foods that are unhealthy, low produce in your diet, that means fruits and vegetables. All of those things are modifiable risk factors, things that you can do something about to lower your risk of breast cancer. If you've had children, that works in your favor, but breastfeeding also lowers your risk of having breast cancer in your future if you have gone through the change of life. And that hot flash or those menopausal symptoms are tough to bear. A limited course of hormone replacement therapy is okay, but long-term use is also a risk. And if we limit those, that can help to lower our risk as a modifiable risk factor. So those are some of the risks of breast cancer that we can do things about. Certainly for those not for those modifiable risk factors that we cannot modify, we need to have a conversation in our family and in our community to spread the word that screening saves lives and early detection gives us more options for quality of life and life itself.
Spread the word is what we need to hear, and that's what you ladies are doing, and you're doing it in a great way. Whether you founded the organization or not, you both have been participating with the Sisters Network. Let's go ahead and start with you, Selena. Tell us a little bit about the community engagement now that you are leading the Sisters Network of Tampa Bay organization. Well, and one more thing.
Okay.
What can we as a community do to help your organization? And I'll ask the same question to you, Dr. Vaughn, so get ready.
Okay. Well, the things that we do in the community within Sisters Network is we have 3 annual fundraisers. One of our fundraisers is the annual tea party. We do a tea party for survivors, for those that are going through the journey, and we raise those funds in order to help women who are underinsured and no insurance to get their mammograms. We also have an annual walk, in which we just had on Saturday past. And we have that also. We have different ones come out from the community, walk with us for the cure, walk with us, walk with your family member, for someone who can't walk for themselves. So walk with us in that. That's the annual fundraiser. And also we have the Pink Sundays. Our Pink Sundays goes on year round, and we go to churches. If they invite us to a church, we go into the church and we share educational information. We share our testimonials, and we let them know how they can be a part of Sisters Network and what anyone can do. And also, let me say, 3 years ago, we started our scholarship program. So what we do with that is we help those of our teenagers or graduating seniors that have been affected or impacted by breast cancer. They write an essay and everything. We have our little board that go over everything, and they select someone to receive a scholarship, and that's presented at the tea party. But how our community can help with our mission is we need those volunteers. We need those volunteers to come on board with us to help us when we have members who can't go out. We need the volunteers to come out and help us with these fundraisers and with these things that we do within the community. And we need their support. If they can't do that, we definitely need the support of any donations that they can give us to help our women who are going through this, and the ones that are needing support and they don't have it. We want to be able to give to them and do more in this community. So you can do a lot with us.
Awesome. Do you get a lot of corporate sponsors? I mean, Sisters Network is not a one-year-old organization. Are you finding that corporate America is supporting this initiative with you?
We do have some sponsors that are corporate, some that I've been with since I've been here. But we can definitely use more. We need this to be more more corporate sponsors to come and help us with the mission, this that we're doing in the community. We seek that.
I agree. Thank you so much. And listen, to our Facebook listeners, to those of you that are joining in, if we were in the studio, we'd be taking questions from you. But I want you to please like and share the post. We'll play Dr. Vaughn's video again. We did get a comment that someone didn't catch the first part. Dr. Vaughn, if that's okay with you. I think it's important because our show will be replayed over and over again. So we certainly want to make sure that it is heard in its entirety and clearly. Ms. King, I remember, and Dr. Shanae, you know my third hour co-host, Diva J, just before the pandemic, we joined in with Sisters Network and kicked off a campaign. And what we did, Ms. King, we reached out to our friends and colleagues, and it started with us. We did a whole mobile billboard, and we went around the community asking people to donate the cost. I think it was $50, and we averaged it to be $50. You all would take that $50 and let them go and get a mammogram. And it's things like this that you can still be a sister friend to the organization and help them with their fund raising, because you are a friend raiser. And that becomes so very, very important. We're going to switch over now to Dr. Vondlin Wright, because she has an amazing event coming up. But Dr. Davis, this is not her first event. Listen, when she says fight, she's been fighting from the very beginning of her diagnosis. But before you talk about your event, I'm going to pause for just a moment because I just can't hold it any longer. I had the pleasure of going to a shop called Paddle by Rose Gold. A friend of mine referred this young lady to me via Facebook, and I went there yesterday specifically to go shopping for our guest, Dr. Davis, and I wanted to see what she had, and I told her. And when I got to her little boutique, she had all her little pink outfits all lined up and ready to go. And that just warmed my heart. And so I was going to grab something to wear on the show today. And I remembered I had a t-shirt. And when I looked at him, I said, nah, I'll let Dr. Vaughn take this one. But her upstyle boutique is at University Mall. Honestly, I hadn't been out there in years. I thought they were demolishing the mall. But it's good to know that the mall is still open, alive, and thriving.
Yes.
And we went around her boutique, Dr. Davis, and I found what I thought was the perfect outfit for our host. And I just want you to know on behalf of Dr. Davis and the owner of A Petal by Rose Gold, Miss Renee Armstrong, and where you're a graduate of? I'm you.
Florida A&M University.
They saw it right. And guys, she is creating, I'll let her tell you, but I wanted her to come in and show you the gifts that we went shopping for. If that's not to your tasting, Dr. Vaughn and Selena and Dr. Sinead, who had to pop off for a little bit, then you guys can go there and pick out something comparable. So pan us around a little bit and let us see what you have for our young, gifted, and Black fight cancer warriors.
Absolutely. So it is an honor to be here. Dr. Vaughn, Dr. Davis, Miss Selena, you guys, your story. Yesterday, I was in tears when Miss Cassell came by the shop and like ugly cries. So thank you for everything that you're doing to the community. My son's godmother unfortunately passed away from breast cancer a couple of years ago, but she fought the fight till her last breath. So keep fighting, doing everything that you need to do. Godspeed, I pray God continues to take care of you guys. But show you around, see if I know how to remove this background so I can show you.
I think you can just switch your camera and then you can start talking and just zoom your camera around. Listen to the tech expert here.
I know, right? Okay, I think there we go. All right. So here we are. A little store in University Mall. All right, of course, my favorite color is pink. So I have a whole section of pink items that you guys will be able to choose from. But it's a boutique here. Started several years ago in Tallahassee, Florida, home of FAMU, where you can just shop. Encourage women to feel better about themselves, step out of their comfort zones, and this little set right here is what we have for you in pink. It's a little cozy set.
We can't see it.
Can't see it?
Renee, we can't see the set.
Okay, can you see it now?
Nope.
Okay, just kidding. Hold on. Just hold it up. I'm so sorry.
She's getting in position, guys. I want you to know that she also has a motor coach. Yeah, see, that is definitely Dr. Vaughn.
Okay.
Little comfort.
It's a three-piece, y'all.
Selena's like, I know that was not for me.
A little three-piece set with a jacket.
No, it has a bathrobe that goes with it, guys.
Okay. That's really nice.
Yes. So there's different things that you guys can come check, select from. You will each have your own personal bag to fill up, so you can shop whenever you come by. All of us. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And like you said, like my new favorite color is pink now. It wasn't my favorite color before.
Right, yeah.
Mine too.
Pink
It's
hair,
a beautiful,
pink everything now.
it's a beautiful outfit. It's actually a bathrobe with a little tunic and the shorty pajamas. And also, Dr. Davis, she has it in green too. So in case you decide you want to stretch her.
I look great in pink. I look great in green. I have to ask.
She has it in green.
Was that a selfie space in the store?
Yes, ma'am, it is. And it's pink.
What inspired that?
The selfie space.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so we're huge on social media with marketing and advertising, and we just, when people come in, we let them take pictures with their bags or take pictures in the outfits once they try them on.
Beautiful.
Again, we'll leave that outfit for Dr. Vaughn. She is going to be joining us.
I thought it was something we needed to wear outside, but I think we can all wear it in the house, right?
Absolutely. I'm waiting on her to get an all black one. But that being said, listen, she's going to be, and I'll just go ahead and put a plug in for our events coming up. And MadCore, this week is actually Minority Enterprise Development Week. And so MadCore here, our local group, puts on a conference every year. It's going to be at the Doubletree Hotel, Thursday and Friday. And Renee Armstrong of Petal by Rose Gold will have some of her items there at the Doubletree Hotel on Thursday night for the reception. So if you're interested, hit me up and I'll tell you more about it. But you, Selena King, and you, Dr. Vondelin Wright, and you, Dr. Shanae, oh my gosh, she has an outfit for you. If you don't want the three-piece that we picked out, that was me picking out for my doctor today. And I thought you guys would love that. But she also has this beautiful, I'm gonna call it a bomber jacket, but it has another name. The athletes used to wear them. What's the name of that jacket, Miss Armstrong? She has designed one.
A varsity jacket.
A varsity.
Yes, just a second.
There you go, varsity jacket. She's designing them for FAMU and BCC, and she has outfits designed for A&M and BCC as well. It's a boutique that you would love. But hopefully we'll get to experience that motor coach.
Nice.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. And so you heard her. She wants to share some love to you all because we believe that you really are warriors. You're incredible warriors. And thank you so much, Renee Armstrong. I appreciate you. I love your boutique. And I'm waiting to see that mobile coach rolled on by. So again, thank you. And thank you on behalf of Dr. Davis and I, feeling the love and partnering with us so that you could be a blessing to these amazing ladies. And so Ricky, if you'll cue that commercial up, then we're going to come back and hear more about, let me rephrase. Let's hear from Dr. Vondelin. I wanted to talk first before we put the commercial.
Okay.
Tell us about your engagements and some of the events that you put on and the one that's coming up Saturday.
Yes.
Dr. Vaughn?
Yes. Okay. So Fight Right Foundation is really near and dear to my heart because, the way I see it is that, God gives us these things so that we could be, I guess, good for the greater kind, and especially for my people. And I knew, I asked God, okay, what should I be doing with this? Because I'm, of course, I'm a healthcare professional, and you're giving me all this knowledge now as a patient. And so I knew I had to do something. And last year, when I was going through treatment, I said, next year I'm going to have a nice walk, and it's going to be big, and it's going to be something that really I haven't really seen in Tampa because we're going to put a lot behind it. And so just so grateful that my Fight Right Foundation, we had our first event in June. It was a nice viewing of my documentary. What you have is, I think, a 30-second or a 1-minute clip, but a whole 30-minute documentary that I haven't really figured out what else I wanted to do with it yet. But it's something that's near and dear to my heart. And so I have all of these titles and all of these jobs, but I did not realize that October for a survivor is something that is really big. And I'm being pulled in all of these different directions. And, everybody wants to hear your story. And I'm so grateful that I do have a story that is helping people. But I'm like, okay, next year I'm gonna be more prepared for October. And then me having my own events. I have 3 major events that the Fight Right Foundation does carry off. And this is our first year. This is our inaugural year. We have a nice dinner in June. And right now we just secured the building for next June. We have a fitness event with my fitness trainer, Monique Physique, in October, in the beginning of October. And we're going to continue to have this walk in the middle of October. And so any way that you could support these events, I would really appreciate it. And we need the support. I like that as a nonprofit, this is new to me. I'm more of a private business owner. I got a lot of businesses. I have 2 liquor licenses. I got commercial buildings. I have a lot going on, and I see the need for our community to have nonprofit support. Like Selena said, we need more corporate help. And I look at ways that we can get more corporate help. A lot of these corporate companies that our friends that work for corporate and are not entrepreneurs they will double or match to a certain extent what you contribute. If you contribute $500, your company probably will contribute $500 as well. And at certain times of the year, they will triple that. There's a lot of grants out there that that will support our organizations as well. But we as a people have to realize that nothing comes for free. And so with this event is, you know, in all events, these things cost a lot of money to educate a lot of people. And I'm still trying to find my niche on exactly how my organization is going to do the greater good. I like that Sisters Network does the mammograms. So initially I'm all over the place. I'm like, I'm going to help survivors. And then I found myself helping paying for funerals. And then I found myself buying school clothes for somebody who might have lost their child. So I'm like, okay, where is my niche? Where can I do the most good? Yeah. And because there is a million things, and I don't want to be just melting pot of, unless we do get a lot of money to do all of these things, because there's only so much that one organization can do. But I feel like together, if we do get behind our own organizations, we could be like a Susan G. Coleman, and we could
absolutely,
if we're supporting each other and we're not looking at you know, of course, these nonprofits, I'm new to the nonprofit world. My nonprofit consists of an attorney. It consists of somebody who has had a really successful nonprofit for over 17 years. It consists of somebody who's a PR person who has been around the world on TV and marketing. And it consists of somebody who plans events well. And who else is on my board? I think it's like 6 people on my board, but I purposely picked this board to bring a lot of knowledge that I probably did not have, so that we can just grow. And we've grown in 1 year. We're here, and I'm just so proud to be the head of that, and to be the brains behind, or the person to help push this out, just to see my vision come to life and so many people behind it. I have Florida A&M College of Pharmacy. They're behind me. Like, they're like, okay, at our Tampa division, we're going to do whatever we want to do. I have USF soccer team. They're like, what do we need to do? USF, other organizations. What can we do to help you, Dr. Vaughn? And so this, I know is going to grow. We're in our infancy stage, and we're already to a place that my phone don't stop ringing and my email don't stop. And you see how it is? So I'm like,
listen, those are great things. While your phone is ringing, I just got a text message. Wait, is this from Renee? Renee says she has heard your stories and she wants to make a contribution to breast cancer survivors so that they can feel better and look better. And that's why Dr. Davis and I do this. If it's just helping one person and helping one person feel better and become empowered, as Dr. Sinead would say, then we've done what we were supposed to do today. So again, I'm going to ask you, those who are listening in, we appreciate you, we thank you. We want to pause for just a moment before, because cancer is so important. And just like you mentioned, Dr. Vaughn, Fight Right, Sisters Network, we do need that one great organization that we can all pour into. But you find that one niche, that something that God just lays on your heart. You stay with that, because there will be others that will come and do some of the other things. But that becomes your signature event, your signature piece, because it just speaks to your heart. And you're a fighter. So you pick one of those 10 things that's all about fighting. And the rest of us come in and help you with the fight. But that being said, one of the things that Dr. Davis and I are just so proud of, this platform, and special thanks to In Touch News, to our engineer, DJ CEO, allowed us to navigate a little differently as a result of the pandemic and still be able to put on our show. Since then, we partnered with the Moffitt Cancer Society. They want to be your one-stop shop, and they are. You guys have experienced the help of Moffitt, and even Ms. Vasquez, who became the poster child on last year. Just so much that we can be thankful for. She was a former president of Sisters Network. And then we have a partnership, Dr. Davis and I, with the American Cancer Society. And just from this show, Dr. Davis, I'll let you speak on it, because we got to participate in one of their equity workshops so that people of color can have a voice and be heard. Dr. Davis, we're going to hear from you. Then Ricky will cue up the commercial and we'll come back with our final thoughts.
Absolutely.
Dr. Davis?
Absolutely. Really quickly, I was fortunate to be a part of the first American Cancer Society. Shout out to Wendy Johnson, our local
Yes.
Executive Director, and also Kimberly Jackson. She's the regional executive professional for the Southeast. And I actually met Selena King there at that Equity Summit. So in realizing where the major costs and disparity of cancer is, they are trying to do more to engage African American women and minority communities to make a difference to curb the disparities in our community. Dr. Wright, you're the inspiration behind the Fight Right Foundation, and I just literally salute you for what you've done with your experience in empowering the community and engaging us with the walk that's coming up on the 15th. What I thought was really great. In business, we always have to find a niche or to look at what's new and different. This is a festival, and so there'll be more than just a walk. So that's what's new and awesome about the Fight Right event coming up this Saturday. So that said, I'm not sure how we're doing on time. I would love to make sure
we are winding and wrapping up. And Ricky, this is a fight that Dr. Davis and I did. We went and supported the American Cancer Society at their Cattle Barons Ball. There's Wendy, the director here, that if you look up on your screens, and you'll see Dr. Davis and I. And we were fighting because she talked me into getting on that darn electronic bull. and I'll give her, there we go, and couldn't listen, couldn't last not 1 minute.
You wrote it.
Right, Ricky, don't leave me out there. Where's Dr. There she is.
You got it. Wow.
So you see, we were fighting out there. We were fighting for the American Cancer Society. It was an amazing event that just raised millions of dollars. And we're participating in entities like this because this is what we want for Sisters Network. And this is what we want for Fight Right. We should be able to fill a room with people writing checks for $10,000 and $25,000.
Absolutely.
For donating a lunch. So,
but Cheryl,
great event.
Yeah.
What, Dr. Davis?
But Cheryl, let's not forget as we wind down, screening saves lives.
Yes.
And can you tell us how, if you are uninsured or underinsured, how Sisters Network can help you get a mammogram?
Absolutely. All you need to do is we have our website. You can reach out to us on our website. It's www.sistersnetwork.tampabay.org. Reach out to us. We're also on Facebook. We're also on Instagram, and you can just you can click on, and it will do that request, and we'll get you that application, and we'll get you in for a mammogram. We don't want you to wait.
Absolutely.
So, that's right.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Screening saves lives. Ricky, you want to cue that up? And while he's queuing that up, again, thank you all. I have to pick up our shirts. Okay. Dr. David, our shirts are at the pharmacy, so we'll grab our shirts for the walk on Saturday. Yes. But let me take this opportunity to say thank you all. Here we go.
Strong, beautiful women take charge of their lives, and it starts with learning the facts. Hi, I'm Vivica Fox. Nearly 250,000 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year. Most of them have no known risk factors or family history, and it's more deadly for Black women than any other race or ethnic group. But it doesn't have to be. Mammograms can make a difference. These x-rays of the breast can add years to your life if they detect cancer in its early stages. With early detection, you can lower your chances of needing aggressive treatments. Remember, an annual screening starting at age 40 saves lives regardless of race or ethnicity. We need to get serious about taking care of ourselves and knowing our family history. Talk with your healthcare provider about the best screening plan for a strong, beautiful you.
All right, and a special thanks to our sponsor, Moffitt Cancer Center. And again, special thanks to the American Cancer Society. I wanted to give Dr. Davis and I, we appreciate all of you coming on the show today. Our product sponsor who turned into a gift sponsor who wanted to go beyond what we wanted to do and bless you all. And as well now wants to donate to your causes. And that's really what it's all about. I want to get final thoughts from Dr. Vondelin, and we will show her commercial and close out the show. See us back next week when my co-host will be Dr. I will tell her she needs to go though. But Diva J, and she'll be coming to us and talk. That's our brand strategist, and she'll be talking to some business owners. And actually, Renee Armstrong will be back on the show next week to talk more about. She's a marketing strategist as well, and can help all of you with what it is that you're doing. Final thoughts, Dr. Vaughn?
So everyone, it's going to be a really nice weekend. I would like for everyone to come out on Saturday, October 15th at Perry Harvey Park. That's right near downtown Tampa, and just fellowship with us. Bring your teens. It's a free event. Put on your pink and just come and learn how we could save each other's life, how we can support each other. We all know somebody who's been affected by some kind of cancer. And so this is our inaugural event. And so we want to make sure that we're coming out so that others can want to join on next year.
Now, Doctor, I know it's a festival, but what time is the actual walk for those that want to walk?
It's the whole thing is from 8 to 2. We want to walk early, so registration is about 8 o'clock. So about 8:30, 9 o'clock, we're going to start walking. And we didn't want to do a 5K because we wanted to make sure that we didn't scare people off. We're walking at our pace, and we're just going to enjoy each other, have some good entertainment while we're walking. And we have some nice vendors out there as well for after. We have some food trucks and different things for the festival part. Awesome, and if you don't have your shirt already, you can purchase a Fight Right Foundation shirt while you're there.
Oh, okay, great. Now I'm going by Health Matters.
You by the pharmacy, or you can go by the pharmacy, Health Matters Pharmacy, to pick it up. Also, and when you're finished with the festival, just stop by 7th and Grove. We just love all of this Black owned that we have here in Tampa, and we're going to continue to keep owning things.
Yeah. Awesome. Put some of those shirts over there in 7th and Grove too. But that being said, let's hear as we sign off. Ricky, you're ready for Dr. Vaughn's commercial? Again, thank you to all of you. Thank you to our listeners from Facebook Live, In Touch News, our YouTubers. We appreciate it. Please like and share this post.
Thank you.
I can't say that with you.
I have something in my body that's really trying to take me out. This is unmarked territory for me. This is something that I really need strength, and the strength of my family, the strength of my friends, just to really get through. I know that God is going to get me through this journey, and I appreciate all the blessings that I've had thus far. This is a battle that I will win, but right now it's kind of me against cancer. I'm ready to fight.
Thank you so much. Let us all rise up and fight. How can we fight? Click the donation buttons to both of these nonprofit organizations. How can you fight? Write a check to both of these nonprofit organizations. How can you fight? Come out and support them. Donate. We're all in this together. Again, thank you. This show, ladies, in bringing awareness to Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Dr. Davis, my co-host, Dr. Shanae Simmons, our guest co-host, Dr. Vondelin Wright, Miss Selena King. Thank you to our product sponsor, Miss Renee Armstrong, In Touch News. This show is a wrap.